Welcome everyone to this episode of Discourse, where today we will be reviewing Midpoint, a Memoir by Patricia Angeles. So this is a short memoir of a woman's retelling of moments of time throughout her life thus far and how those experiences have shaped her mind and her life.
It's dedicated to her daughters.
I know, I love that. Honestly, like from the first page, I felt instantly just connected with her because I'm a mother of daughters. So I just thought it was so amazing that her whole idea behind making this book, creating this book, even though she's only at the midpoint of her life, was to kind of give her daughters an insight of who she is and was growing up and everything throughout her life, like what makes her her.
And it sounds very simple, but man, she had quite a life for being only at the midpoint.
Yeah.
A lot of experiences from growing up in the Philippines, doing her school and education there, and then coming to America, becoming a mom herself. I believe we're close to the same age, so we could relate. With all we had was the street and the neighbor kids.
Yeah,
right?
I know. I totally love that with everything that she wrote. I felt like, wait, I think we're about the same age, because I remember those TV shows, like she referenced the movie Now and Then. And I remember when I was little and I would watch that, I would imagine myself, like, you know, riding my bike down the street with my friends. Just the whole movie.
Singing
I loved
along.
it.
We're playing Power Rangers. I'm the
Ranger.
blue one. I'm the yellow one. Whatever.
I was always like the pink or the yellow one.
Yeah.
My brothers were always, you know, red.
Yeah, we could relate to a lot of that stuff.
I know. She did a really good job with allowing us to reminisce as well.
And now, us being parents ourselves, just like her stating in the book, it's different. It's hard because now you got all these distractions, social media. Growing up, you were allowed to be creative, come up with ways to keep yourself busy, entertain yourself, entertain your siblings. Yeah, I remember myself creating all these obstacle courses. And
oh my God, yes.
puzzles and
she talks about that, how she like created obstacle courses that she knew like her cousins or her brothers or something. And that she would know they would fail at and think it was just so cute. I loved it.
Yeah. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And just the difference from now, raising her own kids here, and how regardless, you find ways to keep them busy and keep them entertained and in general, happy. She talks a lot or writes a lot about the importance of having a happy family, regardless of culture, location, different surroundings, and a lot of great experiences, even nightlife. She was an introvert during the day and an extrovert at nighttime, going clubbing, hanging out with friends. What are some of your favorite parts?
I honestly had so many favorite parts. This is one of the reasons why I like memoirs, especially when they're done well. You don't have to be someone famous. You don't have to be someone who did something extraordinary in life and is well known. I honestly love memoirs of just everyday people and their background, their culture, their lives, like all their experiences are so interesting to me. Not only because I think I find them interesting, but also because I feel like I can connect. There's like a mutual understanding of situations or situations they went through. You know what I mean? Like her having kids, and even though she grew up in Manila in the Philippines, I grew up here in LA, and I felt like we were on the same level, the same plane. Like I felt connected to a person who was entirely across the world from me, which is an amazing thing to have in a memoir. So I think she did an amazing job. So honestly, I feel like every chapter I could just tick off everything because I connected every single chapter. I love it. But I think some of the things that stood out to me were, my gosh.
Double dare.
Yeah, so the double dare. The first thing that, you know, that I just couldn't stop laughing at, but then also got me thinking a lot, was the story of this fish and peer pressure. So I'm going to read a quote. "In my desperate need to prove myself and out of fear of losing my friend, I had succumbed to the pressure and ended up making a poor choice. This incident, seemingly insignificant at the time, would influence how I would later on respond to bigger peer pressure scenarios, strengthening my moral compass in the years to come. I feel like that moment of what happened where she got double dared to go take one of her neighbor's prized fish that lived in his garage because the garage door was open to take one and it died.
Yeah, I think that was it. Just take a fish, but they didn't think about what to do after.
What are you going to do
Put
after?
it in a cup of water, put it in a bag. No, just take the fish.
dies.
Okay, I took the fish.
Yeah.
But by the time she got back,
Right.
it died.
But you know, I felt like as kids, we always did something to prove ourselves to our friends or even family members, kind of give ourselves some worth to people. So as she grew up, like, I love that she kind of said, you know, this would later on, you know, strengthen my moral compass. I think that was great. Yeah, it's moments like that you wouldn't think anything important would come from that, but something really did.
Yeah, and it came full circle because she got one of her daughters a fish herself, and that fish was on the verge of dying. So she had it reminded her of that moment. Past situation, and both fishes got flushed down the toilet.
Yeah. But then it also brings up important conversations with your children, especially if they're much younger, and learning about death and life.
So there's a lot of those moral compass situations and learning.
Yeah. And as a child, you know, it's a lot of learning. There's a lot of learning happening.
Yeah, you're always learning, just in a different way.
Yes.
Like now as parents, because it's not easy. Just having the child, it's a whole journey. One thing I liked is that she talked about her career. I guess a lot of people put pressure on parents that once you're a parent, you got to give away your career or certain things in life to focus on family. But that's not always the case. You don't just give up on your career.
Going back just a little bit, like, I appreciated her honesty of the conversation about her having children and a family and a career, from like pregnancies, deliveries, so upfront with that, and even postpartum depression. And then, like you said, having to give up your career just for wanting to have a family. I appreciated just how honest she was with the entire conversation that she had with us. Yeah. She had a lot of ambition, for sure. I mean, she set herself up. She even mentions that, like, her family helped set herself up for the future, and so did she. So she came from a really hard-working family who are all entrepreneurs and, you know, intelligent people, so they knew working hard and getting a good education would really benefit her in the future. She, you know, there was a little bit of her being a child, young, free, so she didn't take things as seriously for a few years, but I think, I mean, that's okay. That's part of life, right? That's part of learning and growing up, of your adolescence. Once she got into the real working world, or the careers that she wanted to go in, man, she really like went full throttle, didn't stop.
Yeah, and she mentioned that you have to know your worth.
Yeah.
Like,
oh God.
Don't let people walk all over you or make them assume that they could just step on you and give you the grunt work, that you're not ambitious to go for the promotion or speak up.
Yeah.
Because she spoke up about her appraisals, promotions, her worth, asking for more.
Yeah.
Not just for raises, but for new positions.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, so extremely empowering when she was talking about that. I mean, I felt like, you know, her being a different race also, she mentions that in the book, how that kind of, you know, people treated her differently and things like that. But she honestly didn't even let that get her pushed back at all. And I found that just so empowering. It was just amazing.
And with the family, she didn't give up on her careers. If anything, she kept advancing. Yeah. But you just have to make it work.
Yeah, I loved how she said it's important that my kids are just happy. You know, I want to prove to them that having a career and also having a happy family is possible.
And her husband supported her, still supports her.
Yeah.
And even that story is kind of funny because in the beginning she thought he was obnoxious and just ignored him, but then they met again, and just different choices in life. Another good quote on that. Well, not a quote, just
excerpt from the book.
Yeah, where she talks about many times in life you're faced with different choices that you have to make. You have to make one, and don't dwell on the one that you didn't make, because there's always that what if, but that's not going to make anything. So just whatever choice you make in life, you got to make the best out of it and just wish or trust that you made the right decision.
Yeah, I really enjoyed how introspective a lot of her writing is, just because I felt like I do that a lot myself daily. I think about the choices I've made and I'm like, oh, this is how it turned out. I wonder, I always think like, oh, how, but I mean, I have to just go with what I chose, you know, and just have full faith that I made the right choice.
Yeah, with jobs, even with people. One of her good friends was the one that introduced her to her now husband, and she had to choose between them when they had a big falling out.
Yeah.
And obviously she made the right choice. He's very supportive, but that's one of those what ifs.
Yeah.
But
what if she didn't
no
choose
point.
her husband? What if, you know, she wouldn't have had maybe her kids. She wouldn't have had maybe so much ambition in her career or anything. Because he was like you said, her, you know, her cheerleader.
And you get some insights about the family traditions or family quotes like her dad.
Oh my God, so funny.
She was heartbroken for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, so when she was heartbroken for the first time, dang you. Oh my God. Her dad had, like, there's this Filipino idiom. I'm going to butcher how it's said, obviously, but I'm going to try. So we'll see. It's Malayo yan sa bituka. I hope that's right. It means far from the intestines. The pain is far from one's vital organs. It is considered insignificant and thus bearable. I need to learn how to say that the correct way because I need to know that for the future for my kids. Because I'm like, listen, you'll be fine. You'll live. Your intestines are good.
You got internal bleeding going on? Does your liver give it out? No? Then you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. But how amazing is that, right? It kind of puts, you know, things into perspective like it truly does. So there is one line that she writes also that I kind of want to just leave everyone off on. One of my most fervent hopes is that when the time comes, my daughters will also stumble upon the things that spark their souls and make them feel most alive. I love that so much. I just think that's so amazing. And like so special. It's like so powerful.
And that's what you could hope for your children.
Like even it doesn't even matter what it is. It's like if whatever sparks your soul, like what she said, like it's just amazing. Thanks for hanging out with us and be sure to check out Midpoint, a memoir by Patricia Angeles.